Every UFC division has its icons, the humble champions, the warriors who stay out of all the drama, and the ones that everyone roots for. Well, in this video, this is not about them. This is the ones that are on the other side of the cage. The ones who can't walk into an arena without getting booed. The ones who fight fans online more than they actually fight in the cage. The ones who've turned being hated into an art form. From trash-talking masterminds to fighters who just can't stay out of controversy, these are the most hated fighters in every UFC weight class. Now let's get into it. Manel Kape is a walking highlight reel. He is fast, he is powerful, he is explosive, and also controversial. He is a PR disaster just waiting to happen. The man's built a reputation for chaos both inside and outside of the octagon. At UFC 293, after calling out Kai Kara France, he used a homophobic slur towards the entire city kickboxing team.
No one gonna do anything, you know why? All your teammates is a bunch of faggots.
Then, to top it all off, he threw a water bottle at Kai on stage, right in front of Ciryl Gane. Not long after, before UFC 304, Kape got into a 10-man hotel brawl with Muhammad Mokaev's team. There was punches, there was chaos, and there was cameras everywhere. Combine that with weight misses, cancelled fights, and blatant eye poke incidents, and Kape has somehow managed to alienate half the roster. Is he talented? No question about it. But when you fought more outside of the octagon than inside of it, well, fans stop cheering and they start booing. Mario Bautista didn't try to be a villain. It just sort of happened. He's polite, he's disciplined, and he rarely trash talks. But after UFC 307, all of that seemed to change. Bautista beat Jose Aldo via the controversial split decision, spending most of the fight clinching and stalling against the cage. Fans were furious. The Utah crowd booed him relentlessly. Overnight, he went from under the radar to public enemy number 1. 4 straight decision wins later, Bautista, now known as the sleep aid of the bantamweight division, well, is it fair? Well, maybe not, but in a sport built on chaos and knockouts and highlights, being boring can be the ultimate sin. Bautista's hate comes from, well, not from attitude, but from the style that fans just don't want to watch. Bryce "Thug Nasty" Mitchell is the kind of fighter who could have been loved. He has southern roots, he has that farm boy charisma, he has some slick grappling, and he definitely is talented. But instead, he's turning into a full-blown conspiracy machine. He's claimed the earth is flat.
I know that the earth is flat.
He's denied the Holocaust.
When you realize there's no possible way they could have burned and cremated 6 million bodies, you're going to realize that they did not, the Holocaust ain't real.
He's called school shootings government setups.
Well, first off, my number one explanation is that government is in a lot of these. I believe that they.
You think the American government has had a role in these school shootings in America?
They have an agenda. They have an agenda. They set up mass shootings and then blame the AR-15.
And at one point, he praised Hitler in an interview.
I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy based upon my own research, not my public education indoctrination. I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy to go fishing with. Was Hitler perfect? No, but he was fighting for his people.
Yes, that actually happened. He once drilled through his own nutsack doing home repairs. I mean, who does that? And he proudly even told everyone about it.
He had a horrific accident with a drill that was caught in his pants that mangled his nutsack, and he was very sort of fun about it all and lighthearted about it all, and even tweeted pictures of his bloody underwear about it all.
And later, he trained by punching a dead pig, which was so controversial that it even set off all of the animal rights groups. Even Dana White called his comments disgusting, but Bryce just doubled down, showing up to the apex, waving a Bible and shouting,
This mixed martial artist also weighed in 146 pounds in 17 fights. His record...
You see, Bryce has managed to offend almost every demographic possible. Fans, fighters, journalists, you name it. At this point, Bryce Mitchell isn't just a fighter, he's a one-man PR meltdown. Arman Tsarukyan might be one of the most promising lightweights in the UFC, but he's also one of the most disliked. Let's start with UFC 300, where he punched a fan during a walkout. Then came UFC 311, where he missed weight for his fight against Islam Makhachev and pulled out at the last minute.
Around 1 a.m. we received a call from Arman Tsarukyan, who informed us that he was experiencing significant back pain due to the injury. He feels like he is not healthy enough to compete.
And when the UFC tried booking a rematch with Mateusz Gamrot, Arman straight up said no, claiming he only fights top 5 opponents. Fans labeled him as entitled, and his peers weren't any kinder. This is a guy who's also even had beef with some of the top fighters in the UFC. You have Dan Hooker, Paddy Pimblett, and even Ilia Topuria, who all seem to agree that he is overrated. On social media, Arman doesn't help himself either, showing off money, cars, and the good life that he lives, which just adds fuel to all the hate fire. Is he a brilliant fighter? Definitely. But between the arrogance, between the missed opportunities, and the bad attitude, Arman Tsarukyan has built himself into the lightweight division's villain, even without really trying. And now, finally, we are talking about the UFC's final boss of villainy, Colby "Chaos" Covington. He might be the most hated fighter in MMA history, and that's exactly how he likes it. He views himself as the ultimate villain, the ultimate bad guy in the UFC. After beating Damian Maia in Brazil, he grabbed the mic and called the crowd,
"Brazil, you're a dog! All you filthy animals suck!"
He mocked Kamaru Usman's imprisoned father, he insulted Dustin Poirier's wife and child,
and, let them enjoy themselves. Kind of like what Dustin does when Conor's in bed with his wife.
Bring that wife and bring that little kid that's Conor's kid, and I'll see you soon.
And he told Leon Edwards that he'd see his dad in hell.
No, I'm bringing you to 7th layer hell. We'll say what's up to your dad while we're there.
You see, Colby doesn't just cross the line, he bulldozes it. He's turned his mega hat politics into a full-blown character, mixing wrestling theatrics with press conference chaos. And somehow it all works. He's so bad that he's hated by nearly every fighter. Tyrone Woodley, Belal Muhammad, Dustin Poirier, Sean Strickland, and especially Jorge Masvidal, who hates him so much that he literally jumped him outside of a restaurant in Miami. Yet despite all the drama, Colby keeps getting title shots. Why? Because he understands one rule. In fight promotion, hate sells. So love him or loathe him, Colby Covington turned being despised into his ultimate superpower. Sean Strickland is one of the most unpredictable men in the UFC today. Unlike Colby, he's not playing a character. This is who he actually is. He's brutally honest, he's widely offensive, and somehow still entertaining while not caring one bit. He's admitted to growing up in a white supremacist household.
Like the rough childhood thing, everybody has a fucking rough childhood. She went through this weird, neo-Nazi white supremacist phase when I was younger.
He's bragged about almost shooting someone at a party.
And I took the gun from him, I pointed at his head. And I remember stopping and looking around, there were witnesses there, and I kept thinking to myself.
And he's called women weaker beings, used homophobic slurs, mocked religion, and roasted both liberals and conservatives.
Here's the thing, you guys. Women are very strong. They're very amazing. I love them. But women are weak.
Every time Sean Strickland does an interview, the UFC's PR team probably breaks into a sweat. He's feuded publicly with everyone, including the likes of Israel Adesanya, Dricus du Plessis, Khamzat Chimaev, Marvin Vetton. Even sparring partners can't stand being around him. But despite his insanity, there's a strange respect amongst fans. People hate what he says, but love how real he is, how it's not a character. This is truly who he is. He's not manufactured, he is pure chaos unfiltered. Sean Strickland isn't pretending to be the bad guy, he just is the bad guy, and the sport is better for it. Jamahal Hill's villain arc didn't start overnight. It's built up slowly after UFC 300. He was the Contender Series success story. Then Alex Pereira ended that story in the first round. And instead of showing humility, Hill refused to accept it. He blamed ring rust, said that Pereira got lucky, and even showed up at Alex's gym demanding a rematch. Then, after getting dominated by Khalil Roundtree, Hill complained that Khalil wasn't fighting aggressively enough.
Fight was a little more boring than I would have liked. You know, I expected a little bit more of an engage and him to actually come after me and listen. We were going to get after it and put more of a fight, of a show, of a performance together. And I just think that it was a pretty boring fight just to score that one-sided was a little crazy.
And to make things even worse, when he returned home to Chicago for UFC 319 Fight Week, he got booed by his own crowd.
This man is the former undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Jamahal Sweet Dreams Hill.
Hill isn't hated for what he's done, he's hated for how he acts after losing. He's arrogant, he's dismissive, he's constantly making excuses which every UFC fan just hates, and he could have actually been a fan favorite. Instead, he's become one of the most frustrating fighters to support. Now, the heavyweight division doesn't have a clear villain right now, but if we're being honest, Ciryl Gane is starting to annoy fans in his own way. After getting steamrolled by John Jones just 2 minutes, Gane took a year off, did some film work, and somehow landed another title shot. His third in just 2 years. And the fans, they weren't having it. They called it favoritism, said that he's the UFC's golden boy, getting rewarded for inactivity while others grind. And when he barely edged out Alexander Volkov in a split decision before the Aspinall booking, the backlash grew even louder. Ciryl Gane isn't hated for his personality because he's a good guy, but fans have started to see him as the company's favorite, the fighter who keeps skipping the line while everyone else waits. It's the softest villain role on the list, but it's still on there for a reason. So there we have it, guys, the most hated fighter in every UFC division. Some of these guys built that reputation on purpose, while others just couldn't help themselves. From Colby Covington's personality to Bryce Mitchell's conspiracies and to Sean Strickland's wild honesty. Each one of these just proves one thing. You can't have heroes without having the villains. Because in the UFC, hate sells. The boos, the controversy, the drama, they're all part of what keeps the sport alive. And to be honest, it's kind of what we all love as MMA fans. So guys, let me know if we missed out on anyone on the list. Who do you think should have been on this list? Who do you think is someone that is actually hated in their division? And also, let us know why. And guys, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so that you never miss another MMA video, guys. And I'm Ty, and I will catch you on the next one.